Hey everyone, welcome back to MMU Reviews. Today, we are diving deep into one of the biggest television surprises of 2026. If you have been anywhere on the internet over the last few weeks, you have probably heard people talking about a brand new show on Apple TV Plus called Widow's Bay. The buzz around this series is absolutely massive right now. It seems like everyone is dissecting it, making memes about it, and telling their friends they need to watch it immediately. So, I sat down and binged the entire 10-episode first season. And today, I am going to give you my completely honest, 100% spoiler-free review. That is right, you do not have to worry at all while watching this video. I am not going to ruin a single plot twist, I am not going to reveal who lives or dies, and I am not going to break down the ending. Instead, I want to talk about my actual experience watching it. I want to talk about the unique feeling this show gives you, how the tone shifts between hilarious comedy and genuine horror, and why the performances work so well. By the end of this review, you will know exactly whether Widow's Bay is worth your precious free time, or if it is just another overhyped streaming show. And yes, make sure you stay tuned until the very end because I will be giving my official MMU Reviews final rating out of 10. Let us get right into it. Before we talk about my reactions, let us set up the basic premise. Again, no spoilers here, this is just the core setup that you learn in the first 10 minutes of the very first episode. The show takes place on a small, sleepy, and very isolated island town called Widow's Bay. This town is located about 40 miles off the coast of New England. It is a quiet place, but it has a major problem. The economy is struggling, there is no Wi-Fi, the cell reception is terrible, and the town is slowly dying out. Enter our main character, Tom Loftus, played by the amazing Rhys. Tom is a mainlander who moved to the island, and he is now the mayor of Widow's Bay. He is an uptight, slightly stressed-out dad who is desperate to save this community. His big master plan, he wants to turn this creepy, isolated island into the next massive summer tourist destination. He wants people to look at Widow's Bay the same way they look at places like Martha's Vineyard. But there is a giant catch. The local residents who have lived on the island for generations are incredibly superstitious. They warn Tom that the town is under an ancient, centuries-old curse. They tell him that bad things happen when the thick fog rolls in. They talk about monsters, ghosts, and serial killers from the past. Tom, being a practical man from the mainland, thinks all of this is just silly local folklore. He thinks it is just stories told to scare people. So, he ignores the warnings and pushes forward with his tourism plan. He manages to get a major newspaper to write an article about the town, and suddenly, waves of innocent tourists start pouring onto the island. And that is when the fun begins. Because it turns out, the crazy locals were completely right. The ancient legends and scary stories are not myths at all. They are real, and they are starting to wake up. Now, let us talk about the tone of this show, because this is where my mind was truly blown. Widow's Bay was created by Katie Dippold, who wrote for Parks and Recreation, and it is executive produced and directed by Hiro Murai, who did incredible work on Atlanta. When you mix those two creative minds together, you get something very special. This show is a true horror comedy. Now, a lot of shows try to do this, but they usually fail. Usually, a show is either a comedy with a few fake scares, or it is a serious horror show with a few bad jokes thrown in to lighten the mood. It is incredibly hard to balance both at the same time, but Widow's Bay handles this balance perfectly. 1 second, you are laughing out loud at a bizarre workplace conversation in the mayor's office, and the very next second, your heart is pounding against your ribs because something genuinely terrifying is lurking in the shadows. What I loved most about my viewing experience was how the show treats its horror elements. It does not treat the monsters or the threats like a joke. The danger feels completely real. When characters are trapped or chased, the suspense is real, the music gets ominous, and the atmosphere becomes incredibly heavy. The show uses classic horror tropes beautifully: creepy fog, ancient books, locked doors, and things moving in the dark. But then, right in the middle of all that tension, the show injects this wonderful, dry, character-driven comedy. The comedy comes from how regular, quirky people would actually react to insane, supernatural events. Instead of acting like perfect movie heroes, these characters react like tired, annoyed small-town employees who just want to finish their shifts and go home. This constant back and forth between screaming and laughing creates a really unique energy. It keeps you completely off balance. Every time you think you know what kind of scene you are watching, the show changes direction and catches you off guard. It made the experience of watching each episode feel like a wild, unpredictable ride. A horror comedy concept only works if you care about the people on screen. If the characters are annoying, you just wait for the monsters to get them. But the cast of Widow's Bay is easily one of its greatest strengths. Let us break down the main players and my reactions to their performances, completely spoiler-free. First, we have Rhys as Mayor Tom Loftus. Rhys is a phenomenal actor, and here, he plays the ultimate straight man. He is surrounded by crazy eccentrics, and his job is just to react to the madness around him. Tom is not a classic, brave action hero. In fact, the locals think he is a bit soft and cowardly, and honestly, he kind of is. He is just a decent, stressed-out guy trying to protect his teenage son and keep his town from going bankrupt. Watching him try to maintain a professional, calm mayor persona while the world is literally falling apart around him is pure gold. His facial expressions alone deserve an award. Then there is Kate O'Flynn, who plays Patricia Moyer, Tom's eccentric assistant in the mayor's office. Oh my goodness, Patricia is an absolute breakout character. She is wonderfully weird, totally unpredictable, and has this hilariously off-kilter energy. The local townspeople actually avoid her because when she was in high school, she claimed she was targeted by a masked serial killer called the Bogeyman, and nobody believed her. Kate O'Flynn delivers her lines with this deadpan, detached perfection that made me laugh out loud during almost every single episode. We also have the legendary Stephen Root playing a character named Whit Crawford. Wick is the ultimate local conspiracy theorist. He is the guy who knows all the dark history of the island, and he spends his time yelling at the mayor, telling him that everyone is doomed. Stephen Root plays this role with so much passion and energy. He is loud, he is stubborn, but he brings a strange weight to the show because whenever he explains a piece of local lore, you find yourself hanging on his every word. The rest of the office staff and townspeople are played by incredible veteran character actors like Dale Dickey, Kevin Carroll, and Jeff Hiller. They create this rich, lived-in community. It feels like a real, quirky small town where everyone knows each other's business. The chemistry between this entire ensemble is flawless. You can tell the actors are having the time of their lives with this material, and that fun transfers directly to the audience. Let us talk about how the story actually unfolds across the 10 episodes, because the structure of Widow's Bay is very smart and highly satisfying. Instead of just telling one long, slow story for 10 hours, the show adopts a brilliant hybrid structure. It mixes an ongoing, seasonal mystery with a monster of the week style. Each individual episode focuses on a specific classic horror theme or genre convention, while still moving the overarching plot forward. For example, without giving away any plot details, one episode might focus entirely on a haunted local inn where the mayor has to spend the night to prove it is safe. Another episode might deal with a creepy local beach opening where something is wrong with the water. Another might feature a masked killer, a strange book, or a terrifying sea legend. This format is fantastic for a few reasons. First, it prevents the show from ever feeling slow or boring. Sometimes, modern streaming shows suffer from what people call mid-season drag, where episodes 4, 5, and 6 feel like filler because the creators are just stretching out the plot. Widow's Bay does not have that problem at all. Every single episode has its own clear identity, its own specific danger, and its own unique set of jokes. Second, this structure allows the directors to really flex their creative muscles. Because different episodes handle different types of horror, the visual style and the tension build differently from week to week. You get episodes directed by Hiro Murai that feel deeply atmospheric and cinematic, and then you get episodes directed by horror veterans like T. West that feel incredibly intense and stylistic. But even though each episode feels like its own mini-movie, the show never loses sight of the bigger picture. In the background of every episode, clues are being dropped. The mystery of why this island is cursed, how the curse works, and what is causing all these events to happen right now builds slowly and beautifully. It is the kind of show where you want to pause the frame and look at the objects in the background or listen closely to what the background characters are saying. It is highly rewarding for viewers who like to pay close attention. A major reason why my viewing experience was so immersive comes down to the technical aspects of the production. Apple TV Plus clearly gave this show a healthy budget, and it shows in every single frame. The cinematography is absolutely beautiful. The show was filmed on location in real coastal New England towns, and the crew captured that environment perfectly. You can practically feel the cold Atlantic wind, the smell of salt water, and the dampness of the heavy fog. The show creates a beautiful contrast between light and dark. During the daytime scenes, the island looks like a gorgeous, picture-perfect vacation spot with blue-gray waters and historic buildings. But when night falls, or when the fog rolls in, those exact same beautiful locations instantly transform into something deeply threatening and claustrophobic. The lighting design is masterclass. The show relies heavily on natural-looking shadows, flashlights, and dim indoor lights, which heightens the suspense. When a character is walking down a dark hallway with just a flashlight, you feel just as trapped and blind as they do. And we have to talk about the music and sound design. The musical score does an incredible job of holding the entire show's tone together. It switches effortlessly between ominous, creeping orchestral music during the scary sequences, and quirky, upbeat, slightly jazzy tones during the comedic workplace scenes. The sound effects are also incredibly sharp. The sound of a creaking floorboard, a distant ocean wave, or a sudden, unexplained noise in the dark is used perfectly to build tension without relying on cheap, loud jump scares. The show respects your intelligence and uses atmosphere rather than just loud noises to make you jump. So, what is the final verdict on Widow's Bay Season 1? Going into this show, I was a bit skeptical. We see a lot of mystery and horror shows these days, and many of them feel recycled or repetitive. But Widow's Bay feels completely fresh. It takes familiar horror concepts that we have seen 100 times before and gives them a brilliant, witty twist. It embraces the tropes of legends like Stephen King, but infuses them with a sharp, modern workplace comedy sensibility. The pacing is excellent, the jokes hit consistently, the scary moments actually deliver real tension, and the overarching mystery keeps you hooked from the first episode to the very last minute of the finale. Plus, knowing that the show has already been officially renewed for a second season makes diving into this world feel incredibly safe and exciting because you know the story is going to continue. It is rare to find a show that can make you genuinely laugh out loud and then immediately make you want to turn on all the lights in your house. Widow's Bay pulls it off effortlessly. It is easily one of the most entertaining, original, and addictive shows of 2026. Therefore, for my official MMU Reviews final score, I am going to give Widow's Bay an 8 out of 10. It is an absolute must-watch. Whether you are a hardcore horror fan who loves dissecting clues and mysteries, or just someone looking for a fun, high-quality comedy with a spooky edge, this show has something for you. Put it on your watch list immediately, grab some popcorn, turn off the lights, and enjoy your trip to the island. Thank you so much for watching my review. If you enjoyed this spoiler-free breakdown, please hit that like button, subscribe to MMU Reviews for more in-depth television and movie content, and drop a comment below letting me know your thoughts on Widow's Bay if you have started watching it. See you in the next video.